Anyways, we were just congratulating Hutch and Rodrigo for making the Pro Football Writers all-rookie team. But, guys, you know what that means with some of your rookies now going into their second years. The big E, expectations. So we'll start with you, Sam Flannel. After what you just said, and I agree, is that Aiden Hutchinson's second overall pick coming in, filled his bag and did everything that you expected for him this season. What are your expectations moving into year two for Aiden Hutchinson?
My expectations for Aiden Hutchinson in year two is to 100% make the Pro Bowl. He has to do that. He has to have kind of that Pro Bowl level season. I'd say double-digit sacks, not be more like at the beginning of the season, he obviously struggled a bit. I expect all of those to be gone. I expect him to be a smart player, which he was in the last part of the season all throughout the year. I expect him to be the best player on a defense that is maybe top 20 in the NFL and be a Pro Bowler. I think he is that good. I think he is a guy that moving forward can be an all-pro. And I think his ceiling is Hall of Fame. But it all starts with a leap in the second year, a Pro Bowl season, and to be a part of a defense, to be the leader of a defense, that's a hell of a lot better than it was last year, maybe top 20. And then if they have a top 20 defense, we're definitely talking playoffs, probably a division championship.
Isn't it one of those things, though, and what you said, I totally agree, and that's the maturation of Aiden Hutchinson. It makes me wonder, is it some of those games early, if he had made that adjustment, what numbers are we looking at?
Yeah.
But with Hutchinson, Spenny, isn't it more about the draft and who they put around him? Because if we're sitting here right now going, okay, I can see similar numbers and want a couple more sacks, but if they go out and they get not a Will Anderson, but say like a Carter, but if they get somebody, right, or that linebacker that could you really see, or how you hear they're going to use Houston on the other side or something like this, does that not open you up to say, holy cow, this could be even bigger than that?
Yeah, it does for sure. You see what happened when he just had Kaminsky come back. That's really when his production started to tick up again. And now you're looking at James Houston's going to be there. Hopefully Julian O'Carroll will be healthy next year. You look at Kaminsky, Buggs, obviously McNeil in the middle. You have hopefully a healthy Josh Pascal next year. And then to add another piece to the center of that defense, whatever it be, you need help on the defensive line. There's no defensive line that is one man and one man only. So Aiden Hutchinson does need some more help, and I think they're going to give it to him. And I agree with Sam. I think it's Pro Bowl, and I want to say 13.5 sacks for Aiden Hutchinson next year.
So you're talking...
Those are my expectations.
Man, 13.5 sacks. That would make him probably what? Borderline... yeah. I know that we've got Nick Bosa and guys like Micah Parsons and stuff like that, but if he has 13.5 sacks... Boy, we're talking even better than I thought he would be. And in year two, he'd be knocking on the all-pro door. But I would love to see it happen, obviously. But I think with Aiden Hutchinson, I think it was unfair coming out of the draft. He was sort of seen as like the highest floor, but maybe didn't have that like superstar ceiling. I think he absolutely has that superstar ceiling.
I think he blew the roof off to show that his ceiling is better. And why is that? Because it was always talked about. Oh, his motor's going to try. But his freaking brain. Yep. Like, he being able to take in the concepts or whatever and to grow and to know that you need to improve now is something that I think that when we sit here now compared to a year ago, we go, wow, that ceiling's a lot higher. Man, this looks like these... We're in the church right now. These ceilings are so gosh darn high, right? But Spenny, because one of the things to me more, it's like, how can they help Hutch? Yeah. How can they move it around? How can Houston help Hutch? What are they going to do? But when I go to your boy expectations on Rodrigo, I pretty much know what I'm going to get out of him. And you know what? That's what answered the bell this year. And I know what Terry's guy, Alex Anzalone, and the flowing blonde hair, but the development that he did with Rodrigo, but be able to cover sideline to sideline and get, right? Remember my question? I just want somebody to tackle Aaron Jones out of the backfield. We got it. So the fact is, but with Rodrigo, he's going to give you meat and potatoes you know what I'm saying? Smack in that hole, the same sort of thing. But do you have expectations even greater for Malcolm now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think you see what he's shown. He can be a 100 tackle a year guy. That's what I expect out of him is to be in that triple digit of tackles, combined tackles. I expect him to be, double digit tackles for loss. And I want to see him get a couple interceptions next year. I know that was something we talked to him originally about, and he wanted a couple interceptions because he's got good ball skills. He's got good hands. He had a couple. Anzalone stole one away from him later in the year, but I'd like to see him get a couple interceptions next year because I think he can do that. Depending on who they put next to him as well, he might be asked to be in coverage a little bit more. So I'm excited for him, but I think Malcolm has set the bar that he is going to be a 100-tackle-a-year guy in the NFL.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Spencer. I think he's a guy who, moving forward, can be who we talk about as sort of that true middle linebacker, that complete guy, that guy that is a tackling machine but also is good in coverage, gets some interceptions. Hell, maybe gets some sacks. Maybe they blitz him a little bit more, gets those tackles for losses, which he got quite a few this season. I expect him to be no doubt their best linebacker next year. I expect him to have numbers, like tackle numbers like Alex Anzalone's this year, but be a better overall player. Like Malcolm Rodriguez, just with him, I'm not worried about him at all. I think that the absolute worst that he could be is just another season like this past one. It was a pretty good, damn good year. I just think with Malcolm Rodriguez, he already provides so much, and it can only go up. Like, I want to be talking about him in the next 5 years as like a slightly watered down Roquan Smith type player. I'm not saying he's going to be Roquan Smith. I'm just saying like that complete middle linebacker.
See, I look at it differently though, right? I look at Rodrigo as right now, I think he can develop sort of into that, but that's too much to ask. You want him to be Robin for a bit. A couple of years of Robin. Why do you not need it on this rookie contract to bring somebody else in? And I'm not saying draft. I think that the linebacker, there's something to learning, right? All these things you're talking about, I believe that his ceiling to become, but I don't think you need him to be all of that next year.
No, and
right,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying is that I also like to look at bringing, and whether it's, are you bringing back Anzalone, or are you going out and signing that guy? Look at the linebacker. Look at what you have when you're talking about the Roquan Smith, or look at what Fred Warner did. Yeah. Did anybody watch Fred Warner cover CeeDee Lamb, cover wide receiver down the middle and making it? Like, what I'm saying is that, like, and we agree that's extra special. I'm not saying that out of Malcolm, but it's something to develop because that's instinctual. Malcolm Rodriguez is not only tough and physical, but he's instinctual. So I just don't want him to have to take on too much responsibility too early.
No, I understand that, and I think it all depends on what the Lions do. I, for one, and I'm not trying to be negative, I don't know if I expect Alex Anzalone to do the exact same thing next year. I respect the hell out of what he did, but I still don't think it's ideal for him to be your best linebacker. If they get someone in free agency, absolutely, like a Trey Edmonds, for example, I wouldn't hate it, and obviously Malcolm Rodriguez I think would be a good compliment. He'd get to work with the best linebacker he's ever worked with, and I think he would thrive. But if they kind of stand pat and re-sign Alex Anzalone, I think that Malcolm Rodriguez could be better than Anzalone next year. I absolutely do. I think for a lot of this season he already was. But with all due respect to Alex Anzalone, of course, but Malcolm Rodriguez, I think that his ceiling is higher than an Alex Anzalone. And I think if he takes that next step, you're looking at 100-plus tackles, maybe a couple picks, maybe a sack or two, and double-digit tackles for loss. I could definitely see it.
Do you like the comparable? And I saw Cornelius T in here say it. It's a young Teddy Bruschi. You say it like along those lines, because I see both. And what do I think about Teddy is cerebral.
Yeah,
cerebral and physical. That's what I have in Malcolm, and I think that it's not that one guy to be able to do it. Here, real quick, how about on offense? Right? Are we all putting the big E on Jameson Williams this year? Are we waiting to see? Because to me, if you don't re-sign Chark, which I don't think you're going to do, or add that big name receiver, then it's pretty much the job is yours. And he knows it going in, and it's about being healthy. But do we think from what we saw out of him in the limited work this year that that's the right play?
Yes, I do. I think Jameson Williams, if they don't re-sign Chark, will be over 1,000 receiving yards next year with 10 touchdowns. You've seen the guy, he had every opportunity he had to touch the ball would have resulted in a touchdown. Like the guy is a monster. He's out there for a reason. I expect a lot out of him next year.
No, Jamison Williams, and I agree with you, Spencer. My expectations are definitely 1,000 yards. The Jamison Williams question, though, it's a trickier one for me than I think for some, because obviously the rookie class was a damn good rookie class. But Jamison Williams, because of injury, he was pretty much a non-factor. He touched the ball twice, and he has to sort of be that 1,000-yard receiver next year, because I think kind of the elephant in the room, and something that I don't think people want to talk about, is he didn't help your team at all this season. If they would have gone off after, and I'm not saying they should have done it, if they would have drafted like a Jordan Davis, maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe they beat Seattle. I'm not saying that they should have, but Jamison Williams, he has to validate and sort of reward the faith that we all have him in his second year when he's healthy, be that sort of Ferrari, have 1,000 yards. I think 1,000 yards is an absolute minimum. Make a couple of big plays. Take a slant route and go 70 yards with it. Make a type of play like that flea flicker pass that was called back. That's the type of stuff that Jamison Williams can bring to your offense. I mean, Spenny, I don't know about you. When that was called back, it was just like a dagger ripped through my chest, because I wanted that for J-Mo so bad, because I believe in him. But he has to validate the faith, because nobody expected him to really contribute this year. We can give him that, but you got to do it this next year.
Anybody not see the move also too is to keep your wide receiver, to have your one double R, not paying him $20 million a year or whatever
sure.
you call it.
Of course.
No, but the whole thing in a bigger move, I think you nailed it, Sam, is the draft him wasn't for this year.
Yeah.
It was not even about. I think that the run that they had at the end, that if you ask Holmes and Campbell, is that we might be able to get there, but no, if the consistency, they were 7, 8, 9 win team, but I think it was they drafted him for this upcoming season, and to keep the salary down and whatever else. So all these things that you've already seen or whatever, like you're talking about, I need to see him do this, I need to see him do that. Those are things that we expect to see him do, right? Sure. Are those the expectations, is to continue? My thing is that I'm a little skeptical is it's the availability. It's the same thing as Ray. No, and it's not anything his fault. Like you're bringing up where he was drafted and all this, like he didn't do this. Not his fault to the position he was in. It's where the organization of Brad Holmes has chosen. Now it's his time to sort of show out. But I'm wondering, he's got to prove to me his availability, because I don't know if he's like DeAndre Swift and they have to use him. That they be careful with him. I don't want that to be. I want him to be that number one guy.
I mean, you could say, though, that a torn ACL, that might just be a one-off. It might be a fluke. That's what we all hope. And I think that, and I obviously don't know, but I think that's very possible. NFL players tear their ACL and come back better than ever all the time now. And that's why my expectations for Jamison Williams are so high, because I think he's going to be at 100%. He's going to have an off season, and he has to show out. I mean, if Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson can have 1,000 yards last season, Jamison Williams has to do it with his first season healthy.
Hey, when he's holding that ball, don't get it twisted. He's watching all these guys that
Absolutely.
He is sitting there going, I'm better than. So there's the motivation to him too. Yeah. And to your point, that proves that the guys coming out of college can play in the pro, at least that class. And so I think it's good. Okay. I think that it's the upside and the ceiling that he has, we don't even know yet.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jamison Williams can really be a burst of energy for this offense, a burst of energy for this team. And if you need a burst of energy, you can just grab a Cintron.